Hey guys, good evening. Let me make sure my volume is down on my phone here. How's everybody tonight? As promised, I am here to show you how I'm going to repair the leg on this dresser from last night. Okay, there we go. All right, so when you jump on, let me know where you're watching from. Okay, and I'm sorry I was supposed to be on at 7, but I've had a lot going on today. I got my hair did, and I've been having a virtual talk with one of my fellow retailers, Kristen, who I just adore, and I think she's going to be watching here in a minute. So anyhow, so today I went through the process of repairing part of the leg from this dresser that I showed you last night. And it, like I said, it's going to take two pieces to repair it. So let me show it to you again in case you didn't watch last night. But here's the leg that is damaged. And if you look up underneath here, you can see this, all of this has been chewed away by something. I don't know if it was a dog or what. I purchased this piece from another lady who was going to paint it and was not able to. And then today I added this. So this under here is what this looked like earlier. And it's still got some paint on it and stuff because I was trying to show the details. It's not perfect. Hey, Kristen. It's not perfect, but it's a whole lot better than that. So I'm going to show you how I do it. And this is not, this isn't something that, is a one way to do it kind of thing. There's many different ways. A lot of different people do it different ways. This is the way that I like to do it. It's the way that I find to be most comfortable for me. I enjoy it doing it this way. It's fun using the Bondo. And let me turn off my notifications. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Don't want all the beads. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to try and get this camera close enough so that y'all can see. You don't need to see me. I'm going to bring you all the way over here. I'm going to bring this chair over here as I make the mold. Okay. Is that going to be close enough? Let's see. Let me bring this up some. Okay, why did it do that? Let me bring it down some. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm making everybody dizzy. Okay, so this is the leg that doesn't have any damage to it. And so this is the part that we're going to use to make the mold. And the way I make these is with hot glue and Bondo. Okay, so let me get some of the stuff out of the way. I wasn't really that prepared for this. And it's Kristen's fault because we were chatting and so I'm a little bit late getting on here, but that's okay. It's a good reason to be late. First thing I always do is I wear gloves because the Bondo is really hard to get off. I use mineral spirits to clean it up, but you need to wear gloves. And let me tell you, these Venom gloves are the bomb. These are the best gloves. Okay, so we've got our gloves on, and the next thing that I do is I like to put a little bit of, I used olive oil today because I don't have vegetable oil. But I will add a little bit of olive oil to this so that the Bondo will release easier. So let me grab that. I really need more room. I told my daughter that I want her to move to the back room so I can knock this wall out and make myself one great big shop. She didn't take too kindly to that suggestion. So I'm making the best of it. Make and do. Okay, so I'll bring you in closer. How's that? Can you see? Okay. All right. So I'm going to take the olive oil. I'm just going to put it on a rag. And I don't want to use a whole lot because I'll have to go back later and remove it with white lightning. So I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to rub it into the wood so that it will release the glue as easy as possible. And I did this already today. That's why you see little bits and stuff on here, because I've already made one mold that you saw over there. And let me show you what that looks like. So this is the mold that I made earlier. Can you see this? This is what it looks like. It's just hot glue. Yeah, Kristen says, knock that wall down. Okay. And then inside here is all the details. And sometimes you need to go through, and I use a little pick like this. Okay, and I'll go through and just pick out the pieces that if it gets glued that folds over or whatever, just to clean it up a little bit, because this is not a perfect science, but I think it works good. So I probably need to take my gloves off for this. I need to use tape. So let me take my glove, at least one glove off, because I don't have it sticking anywhere. So what I did, because I'm doing this entire piece right here, I'm going to use something to kind of hold the glue so that the glue doesn't go dripping everywhere. So let me get the tape and tape this piece of paper. You can use cardboard, you can use anything. And if I could have, I tried to get these off of here, but it wouldn't come off. So that would have been ideal if we could have done it that way. But nope, wouldn't work. I tried. Okay, so I'm just going to take this piece of paper and I'm just going to put that there, and then we'll get another piece on the other side. This is dollar store tape, not the best tape, but it'll do the job. Okay, here we go. All right, so when you jump on, let me know where you're from. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Michaela, and I am the owner and operator of Paint Fixation here in Middleburg, Florida. Okay, so that's how we're going to start that. And then get our hot glue. Oops, sorry guys. Let me get another stick. It takes about 2.5 to 3 sticks of glue. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I like to get it really thick so that when you pull it off, it doesn't tear. Because I'll show you on this one. So on this one, I started to get a little bit of a tear right here. And I had to add more glue to it. That doesn't work that great. But it came out pretty good. So then you're just going to start adding your glue. And you want to go slowly at first to make sure you get it into all the little cracks. Because the more you can get it into the design, the better your mold's going to be. Okay. And even though I'm replacing the edge on the side there, I can go over the top here because they are equal. They are the same on the back side. So I'm just going to turn the mold sideways. And I'm just going to keep going around. Let it cool a little bit. If you have any questions while you're watching, if you have any questions, or if you are watching on the replay and you have questions and I did something that you're not sure about, just leave the questions in the comments and I will go back and answer them for you. Okay. So now I'm going to let that set up just a little bit, and then I'll add a little bit more hot glue to it. And then after I do this, I'm going to pull the mold off, and then I'm going to show you how I mix the Bondo together in order to form the piece that goes onto the leg. And hopefully this will turn out really good. So what's everybody doing tonight while we're waiting on this to dry a little bit? I know Kristen is shopping because she was just going into the store. So if you're on, please let me know where you're watching from. And why don't we tell each other whether or not your city has been shut down. I'm in Florida, like I was saying, Middleburg, and we have been shut down. Excuse my face in your face. Tonight at midnight, we are required to stay at home. So unfortunately, that's what we're going to be doing. So it's probably a good thing that I have this dresser, because this dresser has got quite a bit of work that needs to be done on it. I started repairing some of so it has some veneer that's coming up, and the veneer that's coming up a lot, I'm pulling all of it off. I've made a big old mess over here, pulling it up off the drawer. But the veneer on the side isn't as bad, so I put some glue. This is how I do it. Where's my little thing? I have this little syringe. Ooh, excuse me. Goodness. So I have a syringe, and I just put my glue in there, and then I just squirt it into the cracks between the veneer and the piece, and then I clamp it down until it's dry. So I do, when I'm doing it, I do try to repair as much as I can. I don't like to take veneer off, because it's not because I don't really like doing it necessarily. I just don't want to do it. Okay, so let me see. We have someone from Tarpon Springs. So they're staying home at midnight. Yes, Sherry, this dresser is going to have my undivided attention. We are going to get to know each other very, very well. This piece, if you were watching last night, there's a local woman who's a furniture flipper, and she had just gotten this piece, and her daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and so she's helping her take care of her kids. So she contacted me. It was kind of cool because she saw my live videos, and so she contacted me and asked me if I wanted to take it off of her hands. So I paid her for it, brought it home, and then I started to look at it, and I was like, okay, we have some damage on here. While this is drying, because this has got to dry pretty good, let me swing you around here to see what I've done, what I've been playing with on the drawer. Let's see. So there's the drawer and my toes. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to repair those and get you back around here. Okay. I've got this sitting on a chair that's not flat. So, okay, so as you can see, we've got the glue all in there. You know, I don't want to mix up the Bondo too fast, because if you mix up the Bondo too fast, too early ahead of time, it will start to dry before you can get it onto the piece. So it's important that you wait until right before you go to put it on the missing part. So as this dries, it'll, like if you use hot glue, you can tell it'll start to get foggy looking, and it doesn't take that long. And then once this dries, I'm going to pop it off, and this is what I'm going to have. I'll have something that looks like this. Okay. Kristen says the store was closed. I'm sorry. You get to save some money tonight. So it's going to look like this, and then we're going to use the Bondo to fill this, and then I'm going to show you how I put it on there. And I may have to hold it because I'm doing the bottom side of it, because this leg over there was damaged. It was chewed up almost, I would say, 3/4 of the way around. And so when I did the top part so far, I could actually use this mold, but I kind of want to see if this one comes out better because of that little crack in this one. But I'm just going to turn it a little bit around. So I could use this one twice. You can use the molds indefinite amount of times as long as it stays intact. as long as you get it thick enough. And then afterwards, take your pick and pick out any wood. Because sometimes when you pull it off of here, you'll get little particles of wood. I need somebody to invent glasses that, well, they probably already have glasses that do what I needed to do. I just wish I had some. I need one of those glasses that magnetize. My mom used to have them. She used to wear them around her neck and they would magnetize and she'd click them together. That's what I need. I need something that I can, or get the old lady chains. That's what I need. An old lady chain to chain it down. Okay, I digress. So this is what it looks like on here. I'm looking in the camera there to see what it looks like. And so all of these little particles in here, if they're too big or chunky or they're inside the details, you're going to want to pick those out because those will keep your mold from looking good. Now I'm going to show you again while that's drying. I'll take you over here. Okay, and I'm going to show you what we're trying to accomplish here. So this is what we're trying to accomplish. It's not perfect. Oops, this way. It's not perfect. Let me see if I can get it to, trying to get it so it's not blurry. Not an easy task. Let's see, bring it this way. I'm working with my new webcam here, so bear with me for a second. Let's bring it back some. Can you see it? I painted it with some, I'm going to be painting this piece in the navy, so I went ahead and painted it to see what it looks like. But you can see the details in it. Okay, they're not perfect, but once I hit this with maybe a little bit of the gold gilding wax, this is going to be really, really pretty. Okay, but this is what it looked like this morning. Oops, I'm going to bring it. Man, I hope y'all aren't getting dizzy. I'm sorry. This is kind of awkward. See, there's some more veneer that I pulled off today. But this is what it looked like. Let me see if I can get the lighting to... Can you see that? How it's just a chunk? So this whole upper part, this whole entire upper part was like this. It was just gone. And you can see that in the video that I took last night. And I also will post the before and after pictures on my Facebook page and on my website. So let me put you back down over here. Okay, so I can check this and see how it's going. Okay. So it's almost good enough to take off. It's still just a little bit warm. Thank you, Kristen. I love fixing things, so I'm kind of like MacGyver. And I did see how to do this a while back from someone online, and I've done it a couple of times. I replaced a closet tub or closet from a dresser doing this. Okay, so I'm thinking this is just about ready. Let me take this off. So I'm just going to pull this away because I just need this top part. It's still a little bit warm. Yeah, it's still just a smidge warm. Let me give that just another minute. So while I'm waiting, does anybody have any questions? Sherry, thank you so much. And this can be done for little things too. I mean, let's say this little red edge right here was just a piece of chunk missing off of it. This could be so easily fixed. I mean, if one of these little ridges had been popped off or broken off or chewed off, you could fix that. If you have a decorative trim on a piece, you can, like, so I have a video on my website, Paint Fixation. And there's a video on there where I replaced applique that was on a dresser. It actually wasn't broken, but I was just showing how to do it. So if you have any raised details on a mirror, on a dresser, or anything, you can use this method to fix it. Now, there are other ways of doing it. If you don't want to use the hot glue and you want to use a different substrate, you can do that. Some people use resin to do this. I haven't tried that. Resin's kind of messy, although you'll see that the Bondo is very messy too. So I'm going to pull this off, and if it's not a good mold, we're going to use the one I made earlier. But sometimes you do have to make more than one. So you just want to gently start to peel it off. Just kind of, coax it a little bit. Let's see. It's coming. Here it comes. And this one might actually have less of the little bits of wood because we've already pulled them off with the first mold. But you want to try, what you want to try not to do is rip it. If you do, of course, you can just do it again. Glue's not that expensive. It's a pretty easy, inexpensive fix, really, because you don't use very much of any of the product. Like, oh, I just tore a little bit of it. But I'm going to pull this off anyway and show you, and then we'll use the other mold for our Bondo. Bear with me, folks. Talk to each other if you have to. Hey, Wendy. What you doing, girl? I see that you texted me, but I haven't looked at it yet. Okay. It's coming. I'll show you where it tore. It's not a big tear, but I'm going to have to use the other one, I think. Okay. That's actually a really good mold, detailed wise. Okay, so can you see this? Can you see the details? I can't. My computer's way over there and my phone's on delay. So I'm just trying to make sure y'all can see what it looks like. And you can actually, on this side, you can see the details through the glue. Okay. So let me move you over here to the part that we're replacing. Let me lift this up. Okay. All right, so this is the part that we want to replace over here on this edge. So I'm going to take the mold that I just made and see if it goes far enough around. I think it's going to work. So I'm just going to match it up. Let me cut this piece off right here. So this piece right here is keeping it from flat, and I don't need that piece because I already have replaced it. So I'm going to cut that part off. Just going to cut it like so. I'm actually going to cut just a little bit off this one too. Okay. So we just need it to go right there. Okay. So that feels like it's going to fit good. Okay. So see how it's nice and snug in there? I'm going to make sure it's going all the way around. Okay. So that looks like it's going to work. Let me just make sure. Okay. So now we're going to make the Bondo. I'm going to bring you over here. I'm going to tilt this down. Here's my gross workspace, but just bear with me. I'm going to move that there. Okay. So to make the Bondo, you're going to want to use one of the spatulas like this. Okay. And this is the Bondo that I use. It's the all-purpose putty. Okay. And it comes, the top of it looks like this. If you're in the store, this is what you're looking for, like that. And inside the lid, you're going to find your hardener. That's this right here. Okay. And we'll move this stuff out of the way. I have my fan on because this stuff is very stinky. Let me get my other can. This can is a little older. This is a newer can. Phew. If you could smell this, I wish we had smell-o-vision because this stuff is potent. All right, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to take, we're not going to need much because we only doing that one little small section. And earlier I used plastic. I had an old bag of almonds, which I prefer, but I'm just going to put it right on the cardboard here. Okay, so this is about what we need. See that? How much that is? The light's kind of bright. Can you see that? It's just a big glob of it, okay? And so now I'm going to take I do love my Bondo. Okay, so I'm going to take this hardener. Actually, before I use it, because it's been a while, when you use your hardener, you want to just give it a good squeeze, okay? Just kind of mix it up a little bit. And then it has instructions, but I kind of do this like I cook. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to eyeball it. And if you can see it, which you can't really see it too well, let me see. The lighting is kind of bright. Hang on, guys. Y'all are going to need some nausea medicine after I'm done with you. Okay, so I'm going to hold it up. So I'm just going to take like maybe two pea-size dollops of the hardener. Just two pea-size dollops. Diane, I like to use the Bondo because it dries fast and I don't have to worry about it. It sets up faster and it's got such a good bond on it. If I use the Dixie Belle Mud to do this, because it's so much product, it would take forever for it to dry. And then I risk the mold not staying good. I just really like to use the Bondo in this type of a situation. I will use the mud to fix all of my veneer because it sands so beautifully, and I can use the brown. So Diane is asking me why I'm using the Bondo instead of the Dixie Belle Mud. And like I said, I just like that it sets up quicker, and I don't know. It's just personal preference, I guess. You could use the mud, but I just really like the setup time on the Bondo better. Does that make sense? Okay, so I've got my mold, and I'm just going to recheck to make sure where I want it. So I'm going to use it on this side over here, on the outside edge, and I'm going to fill it. Okay, and this is where it gets really messy. So I'm going to fill that edge. I actually probably made too much, but it's better to make too much of the Bondo than not enough, because you really can't go back to add to it, because it doesn't. There are pros and cons to the Bondo, but for me, the pros outweigh any of the cons. Okay, so you can see the part that I'm going to be adding it to here. I'm going to get me a paper towel. I should have my mineral spirits out. And I'm just going to line up this side with the good part so that I make sure it's where it needs to be. Okay, so I know I can feel that the ridges in the mold are on there, and I'm just going to squeeze it. And I'm going to push it on until I can't get it on until it won't push any further. Okay. And if y'all have any questions about any of this, please shoot me the questions. Okay. So as I can feel that this is coming down all the way, and it's smushing up in here, but that's okay, because it won't go any further than it has to go. And I am going to hold this for just a second. Wendy. So Wendy's asking, do I need a nail? And I'll just bring you up here. until I can. Okay, so Wendy is asking if I need a nail in here. So for some of the things that I have replaced, like if you're doing the edge of a dresser, so I had a dresser once that was a curved French Provincial, and the edge of the dresser got knocked off. Wendy, I don't know how that happened. Do you remember how that happened? And so I went ahead and put some finishing nails into the dresser so that when I placed the Bondo on, because it was the edge and I wanted it to be very sturdy, I placed the nails in there so that when the Bondo went on, it had something to hang on to. This particular piece, I did not need to do that because it was so chewed up. It's the perfect scenario. So that it has all the wood is just all chunked in there, and so it has plenty of area to grab onto. Hi, Jason. Hey, Melissa. We got a crowd tonight. We got a whole 11 people tonight. Woohoo! I'm excited. Okay. So that's staying. Now, sometimes when you do this, you might even have to tape it. Or in the situation with the dresser where the edge was torn off, what I did was, so let's say this is the edge of the dresser right here, and this piece had been taken off. And I took a piece of cardboard and I taped it underneath the dresser so that when I put the Bondo mold on there, it would hold it in place until it was dry enough to remove it. So sometimes you may have to tape it to hold it. But like I said, the Bondo sets up so quickly. And another tip. So because the Bondo does set up quickly, you have to be careful when you're doing the hardener. It takes some practice. So if you use too much hardener, then your Bondo will become dry too fast and it will get crumbly. If you use too little, then it doesn't set up quite fast enough. So it might be a good idea to practice a little bit. Practice on, if you look at the video that I have on my website, when I did the molding on the front door of the dresser, that's a good way to practice, because what I did was I took a piece of board and I put a screw in the board for the Bondo to hold onto, and I actually placed the mold right onto the board. That's a really good way to practice. So get you a scrap piece of wood, put some nails in it to hold your Bondo, and then find a mold on something and make you a mold and practice your ratio between your hardener and your Bondo. That's a good idea to do that. Thank you, Wendy. I just went to the hairdresser today. I haven't washed it or anything yet, so I've got hair flying everywhere. But when they said that they were locking Florida down, I called my girl and I was like, think you can get me in tomorrow? So I had to wait, but I did get in. So we're waiting. We're just going to wait for this to set up a little bit more, and then I'm going to pull that off. So I see people on here who have not told me where you're from. Please let me know where you're from. Say hello, because I want to get to know my followers. I want to get to know you guys. And if you're not following, if you just found me or happened upon me, go to my Facebook page, Paint Fixation, which you're already on there, and go to the notifications and follow. And that way, if you're following, not just liking, because liking doesn't give you the notifications that the following does. So if you're following me, you'll get notifications when I come live, because I'm consistently inconsistent. I'm trying very hard to get better at going live on the same day every week. But as you guys probably all know, life gets in the way and things don't always work out that way. So the best thing to do is to follow me. That way you'll be able to see when I come on. The other thing is, if you go on my website, there I always upload all of my lives to my website. So you don't have to go through my feed on my Facebook page to find the videos. They're all in one place. And if you weren't on last night, I was explaining that my color guide that I've written is going to be available very, very soon. Within a week, it'll be ready. I'm just working on a few things. If you're not sure what I mean by my color guide, check out my video from last night. I explained the whole thing and in detail. And hey, Jackie. So I explained it in detail. So if you're interested in getting a color guide from me when it comes out, the best way, I will announce it on my Facebook page, but if you are subscribed to my website, then I will be sending out notifications to my website subscribers first, because it will be for sale on my website. If you ever have trouble with color, picking colors, understanding color, this guide is for you, okay? It's going to have examples of the color combinations. You're going to be able to look at it and pick a color and know exactly what colors you need to go with it if you want to do a piece with more than one color on it. I think it's going to be a really good thing for people that don't really understand color or don't really want to worry with it. You don't have to get your own color wheel to do it. You don't have to buy 10 different colors of paint to figure out which color you want. It's going to be right there. So Jackie. So Jackie is a local. She's local. I delivered some paint to her yesterday. She's a lovely woman. I'm so glad I got to meet her. And she also found me from my live. So it was, it's really been fun to start meeting people that are actually in my area that are watching my videos. It's so much fun. And you guys don't know how much I appreciate you coming on here and watching. It's just, it's a delight, for lack of any other better words. So I'm going to see, let's see how this is looking. I don't want to pull this off too soon because, let me get my glasses. We don't want to go too soon, but I think we're good. Okay, now can you see it? Can y'all see that detail? Okay, so after you pull it off, Deborah, if you want a guide, you need to get on my website and subscribe, or just follow this page. I will announce it on this page as well as soon as it's ready. So let me show you what I keep wanting to change my computer because that's what it seems like y'all should be on, but you're not. You're over here. Okay. Let me pull this way and show you what I do once I get to this point. So we have it on here, but we don't need any of this. So while the Bondo, now Diane, if you're still here, the reason, this is why I like Bondo, because it's already set up, but it's still soft. It's still soft enough for me to play with it, but hard enough that I was able to take the mold off. So I'm going to take my little tool here. I'm like last night, I'm not sure what this is called. Just a pick. And I'm going to pull off the areas that I don't need. I don't need this because this already has this piece. And don't worry about me scratching it because that can all be covered up with paint. Okay, and then I'm going to come under here and pull this off because I don't need that. And then I'm going to scrape this part off. Now, after it gets to this point, you see, it's coming right off. Okay. You see that? Oh my gosh, that looks really good. That actually looks better than the one that I did earlier today. Look at the details in here. So while it's still manipulatable, good Lord, that's not how you say that word. Somebody help me out. Okay, so you can take your little tool, go in, pull out any pieces that aren't supposed to be there. So you can look and see, okay, this shouldn't have this little dollop in there. So I'm going to pull that out. See there? Just pull it out and just kind of clean it up a little bit. It's not going to be perfect. Now, some molds come out better than others. I actually don't need this piece here either because it was already on the first mold. So I'm going to pull this off like that. I don't need it. See that? Now, once this gets hard, you cannot do this. It will not come off. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down here so y'all can see this bottom part. Okay. Let me show you. You see that detail? Now, after I clean this up, so what I'll do is I'll clean it up a little bit more. I'll use my I'll use this little tool here first for the first little bit. I've got Bondo on my microphone. Sorry, you probably can hear that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have scratched that. Whew. Okay. So once I clean it up as much as I can while it's still, and I can still see some pieces in here that I probably should take it out while I'm standing here. While it's still well, I can still manipulate it. I'm going to go ahead and take out the pieces that I don't want. And then after it gets too dry, I will use my Dremel tool. And I don't have it in here with me right now because I didn't have it used it today. But so I have a Dremel tool. You can get Dremel tools very inexpensively, under $30. You can get the simple kit. But even the simple ones have little sanders in them. They have little drills. It's one of my favorite tools. I love it. If you don't have a Dremel tool, you need to get one. I don't know why you would need one, but I just think everybody should have one. They're just like my go-to tool. I love it. See, and then, okay, so here's a beginner's mistake. I've got my Bondo on here, and normally when I'm not doing a live and I'm in my element, I would take this off before it gets hard. So now it's kind of in between hard and just a little bit hard. So now I'll wait until this is completely dry, and I'll use another one of these, and I'll just scrape it. It'll come right off the metal. But I saw this down here, and I just wanted to give you all that tip. If this happens to you when you're using your Bondo, don't fret. Let it dry and just scrape it right off the top. It comes right off. And I know that because, you know, I've done it before. All right. Okay, I'm going to close that Bondo up. Because if you don't close the Bondo up, even without the hardener, it does get pretty thick. Bondo cleans up with mineral spirits. So what I was saying is I would use my Dremel tool. This little piece right here can come off. While I'm talking to y'all, I want to get some of these pieces before that gets too hard. I'm going to back you up just a little bit. Just inside these little cracks and stuff, I'm just getting these little pieces out from the glue. Sometimes the glue, there we go. See, it comes right out. And like right here, I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's got a little bit of a divot right there. I am not going to sweat that. I can take the Dixie Belle mud and I can fill in any cracks that need to be filled in. I probably won't fill that in because to me, it just leads to the character of the piece. Because I mean, this mold over here, even though it's intact, it's not perfect. I mean, this piece is very old. So if there's little divots and stuff, I'm not going to sweat that. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to put some gilding wax on it, and no one's ever going to know that a dog chewed the mess out of that. I promise you. Nobody will be able to tell. So when this gets hard, Bondo sands beautifully, as good as the Dixie Belle mud. So when you're doing your projects, you need to weigh the pros and cons of each product. Dixie Belle mud, I will definitely be using it for all of my veneer repairs on this piece because I will be able to make it smooth as glass. It's going to be beautiful. The Bondo is not for that. for me because it is messy. The Dixie Belle mud is not messy. It's a very easy product to work with. It just takes a little bit longer to dry for this type of a situation. It would take way too long for this to dry, and I feel like I would lose detail if I used it. So for everything else for this repair, I will use the Dixie Belle mud in the brown, which is wonderful because it does come in dark colors, and I'm using in the navy to paint this. But for this, Bondo. Then I will use my Dremel tool. I will use some of the smaller attachments, and I will get out whatever parts need to be gouged out if there's glue or if there's Bondo that seeped in between. I can sand those out, but actually this looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to take that much manipulating to get this the way I want it to look, but I will be posting all my before and afters on my website or on the Facebook page. It will eventually be on the website too. I really wish I had done a tutorial like video of this because this came out a lot better than I thought it would. It looks really good. I do see some stuff. Anyway, if you try something like this and you're not sure if you're doing it right or if you need help, please reach out to me because I've done a few of these and I'll be happy to help you figure it out. If you have questions, I can barely see the dog. Kristen says the dog will know. The dog will know, but it's not my dog. This came from someone else's dog. So from my ownership to wherever this thing goes, no one's going to know. But anyway, so if you have questions, please ask and I will answer them. If you're watching me on the replay, again, ask questions, I will answer them. And if you're interested in the color guide, please follow my page or subscribe to my website at paintfixation.com. Also, if you're not following my Facebook page, Paint Fixation, you need to go on the notifications and follow. That way you won't miss when I come on live because like I said, I don't have a schedule right now. With everything going on, every day is a surprise. So as all of this virus stuff goes away, my schedule will get much more organized and I will have my lives on my event page and on my website so that you'll know ahead of time. But until then, it's best to follow me if you want notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please SHARE the video. I'm a small business just like a lot of you guys are, and it really helps out if you take this video and send it to wherever they go when you SHARE it. I need a sign that says that on it. And give me some thumbs up and some hearts, which I've been getting lots of tonight, so it's been awesome. And thanks so much for coming on tonight. I know 2 days in a row is a lot to ask of anybody, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And again, any questions, please reach out. You can private message me. I don't mind at all. I'm happy to help. Y'all have a great night. Thanks.